regards to the fact that long as the team stay local, I've been a Missouri resident all my life, but I've worked over on the Kansas side most of my adult life, though. And it's interesting that a lot of the people I work with over in Wyandotte County told me they didn't want the Chiefs, but because of the taxes and the high taxes that they have to pay. So I'm glad that Kansas, regardless, stepped up and secured the Chiefs to stay local in the area. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about as far as the Royals. I think I heard you say the Royals is kind of up in the air the other day. Because,
yeah, it still is. It still is. I think they need to get something done sooner rather than later. But, they still have 3 different sites that they're vetting and trying to get to an agreement. I think listen, I don't think it's any secret when a bunch of their owners put together the money to buy the Sprint campus that's where they really wanted it to go. A lot of people's estimation is that they overpaid for that the only way that financially makes sense is if they do build a stadium on it with star bonds. And as of right now, it seems like they're starting to get, I think people are now publicly, pushing back. I mentioned the Jewish Community Center said, not in our backyard. We don't want it here. And so I think the Royals are, surprisingly still we're this far into it. And, I think it is going to be kind of a wake-up call. Once this meeting is done on Monday, all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, and it's final. Again, that is when it's final, is on Monday. If and when that happens on Monday, I think it does put a lot of pressure on the Royals. Like, okay, wait a minute. They not only got a dome built, got everything lined up to build a dome, but they also got a second location where they're going to build a whole mixed development, retail, commercial, and practice facility at a second different site, and they're able to get both those things done before you can get one site done. I think it puts a lot of pressure on the Royals to get their act in gear.
Well, let me ask you this, Duran, my brother. I'm feeling some kind of way about Lucas and White. As far as I'm concerned, they on the list. Because Lucas and White and any other politician that was basically on duty during the time of losing both the Royals and the Chiefs, they've taken Kansas City, Missouri back to the Stone Ages as far as I'm concerned. And now we're Omaha Junior. All we got is the zoo and the minor league soccer or the major league female soccer team up the street. And I'm going to tell you something. Frank White, it should be posters at the post office there. Don't let us catch you outside after dark. Because the way you fumbled this one, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And you too, Lucas. I'm a fan of anybody running an office against those guys because I'll never vote for them ever again.
Mario, thanks for the call, buddy. I appreciate it. I think you're fair in saying it's on them. If it happens on your watch, you were party to it. I don't know that any one individual – listen, we know Frank White clearly was not – kept saying that we got plenty of time. There's 5 years left on this lease. It was not anything of urgency for Frank White. And as of Monday, he will have certainly played party to the Chiefs moving to Kansas. I don't think there's any way around it. And I think Frank White and his supporters would tell you that, well, it wasn't going to be a good deal to keep him here in Missouri. That's up for each resident to decide whether it is or isn't. But, as far as Mayor Lucas, yeah, it will happen on his watch. There's no doubt. It will be part of his legacy. It'll be part of his resume. But he's not the only one. And he does not, he's not just able to, wave a wand and say, okay, it's here. There are a lot of other people that are involved. I'm in no way, Mario, excluding or excusing Mayor Lucas, but he's, it's not just his decision that he said, nope, I don't care, let him walk. It is a very, very complicated and very, very expensive decision that has to be made by any municipality to get this done. 913-810-810. Let's talk to Dwayne. You're in the program, Dwayne.
Hi, Soren. How are you?
Good, buddy. What's on your mind?
I have a question for you. I am a diehard Royals fan. I'm also a Chiefs fan, but I was wondering, with all this talk about the teams moving and the dome stadiums and this and that, wouldn't it be cheaper to just put a dome on the existing stadiums than to run them all out of town like this?
I think the answer overall is no. I can't tell you specifically. I'm not a design team, Dwayne. But, first of all, concrete in the air is more expensive than concrete on the ground, right? Like, mechanisms in the air are more expensive than mechanisms on the ground. So anything you do higher up gets more expensive, right? That's why a lot of stadiums are usually dug down into the ground a little bit, because that's cheaper than it is to hang the concrete up in the air. And plus the shape of Arrowhead. It has the iconic, it's not the best necessarily for ticket sales, but the iconic peaks in each corner, how you would attach it. And if you're talking about a dome, if you're talking about a roof a la the Rams, that's probably much more feasible to put a roof over it, but that's not a dome and that's not climate controlled. And there's a difference between putting a roof over a stadium in Los Angeles and just putting a roof over a stadium in Kansas City, where temperatures, as we know, get to what? Negative 13? Right? And if you would have a 30, I've been to the Final Four, and I've been outside in Kansas City when the Final Four is going on. There are times we have 35-degree weather. So if you want to play a Final Four and it's in the 30s or it's in the 40s, you can't play basketball games there. So, what the purpose of getting a dome is to get more events. It's not just to put a roof on to stay out of the rain. 913-810-810. Dan, you're in the program. What's up, Dan?
Longtime fan, old guy, really did wait 50 years to get back to Super Bowl. But former season ticket holder, I was back here in the 90s and the early 2000s, got my heart broke at Arrowhead a few times, seen some of the best football of my lifetime in the last 7 years. It's been wonderful. I hate to see Arrowhead go. I understand. I think we're going to lose a little advantage in cold weather. Maybe not against Buffalo, but who knows who's going to be there in 2031 anyway. So we'll have to see. I'll probably be too old to be making it to any kind of season tickets in 2031, but I have seen the projection for what the seats are going to cost, and I will be too poor to buy them anyway. And PSL's involved and everything else. I think they're just moving the working guy and the working fan out of the area, and I'm mostly concerned about a move to Kansas. What are they going to do about tailgating? Because you have a lot of area at current Arrowhead, and talk about moving out toward Legends and the racetrack. Unless they open the racetrack infield, I don't know where they're going to tailgate.
So
I love 81 because I can pick it up clear. I'm 20 miles from the Mississippi, and I can pick it up over there. So,
that's great, man.
Anyway,
listen.
So thanks for taking the call.
You bet, Dan. Thank you for the call, and let me echo your sentiment about the cost. I'm not going to lie to you. The Common Man is being priced out of the National Football League. It's the most popular ticket of any kind in America today, and we are going from the Common Man being able to be a season ticket holder to the Common Man surprising the family on Christmas because he's got tickets to one game. That's a reality, and that's not just in Kansas City. That is an NFL reality. I can't do anything to allay those fears. You're 100% correct. PSLs are coming with a dome stadium, personal seat licenses, which means you're going to have to pay a fee for the right to then buy the ticket. It's coming. It's happening in Nashville. It's happening everywhere that they're building new stadiums. It's happening in Buffalo. It's not unique to Kansas City. It will be here. The price is going to blow you away because we've never experienced anything like that, but I think the price will probably be competitive, equal to, probably less, but than what they're paying in other markets, but they're all paying it. I mean, this is how popular the NFL is, right? And I don't love it. I don't, man. I hear you 100%. But the market, the pricing reflects the market. The people are willing to pay that price. That's why they're charging that price. And the PSLs, I will tell you, the one thing about them is, I don't know enough and haven't done enough research to know, do they hold their value? I don't know what the number's going to be, but it's probably going to be like $10,000. I'm not going to lie to you. It might be $5,000. I don't want to know. I haven't done enough research, and I have not talked to anybody about what those numbers are going to be. So I don't want to scare anyone. Maybe it's $1,000. Maybe it's $1 million. I don't know what it is. It's probably somewhere in between those two numbers. But whatever it is, the concept behind it is when you buy that you own that seat and you can sell that. That is a commodity. That the idea is that you buy it for $1,000. And 20 years from now, you and your family don't want those seats anymore. You can sell it, and hopefully you're selling it for $40,000, $50,000, because there's only one per seat. And so that it's a commodity that would go up in value. That's the idea behind it. Maybe it's just the sales pitch behind it. Maybe it's the reality behind it. But it will be the reality with the Dome Stadium and the Kansas City Chiefs. You are correct about that. Let's take a break. We'll talk Titans football. Chase McCabe, 102.5 The Game in Nashville, joins us next. with. Where are we at on this football team? I think everybody knew it was a work in progress, but did 2-12 sound like what they expected?
I don't know. I mean, I think that we all hoped that it would be better than that, but at the same time, I think the idea was Cam Ward has to show improvement, and in some ways he has, and in some ways he hasn't. And they made the coaching change. Mike McCoy came in, who I do not believe is going to be considered to be the full-time head coach of this team, but he's gotten something out of them, and even though the roster's not very good, they're playing better. They put up 31 points against Cleveland, won that game. Didn't have to luck into a win like they did with Arizona. They've put up 24 points or more the last 3 weeks, which they haven't done that in a very long time. So, you know, I think everybody's kind of like, all right, let's just see what the new coaching staff looks like. Let's see what they do with the, you know, second most cap space in the NFL in free agency, and see what they do with the draft. But yeah, everyone's disappointed, but at the same time, now I think they're kind of at we're checked out. Let's see what happens next year.
You mentioned Cam Ward, 2,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. You know, not a lot of touchdowns, but how much does, you know, Nashville believe that he was given weapons to put up more than 11 touchdowns? I mean, how good do we think the supporting cast was as far as what he's been able to work with?
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, that's part of the problem. Now, are there some bright spots? Yes. You got a couple of fourth-round pick receivers in Io Manor and DK. You got Gunnar Helm, who I think is also a fourth-rounder at tight end, who's been pretty good. The run game has actually been much better as of late. When you have, you know, Tony Pollard's been playing much better. So he doesn't, you know, he doesn't have a great offensive line. He doesn't have great weapons to work with. And I think that's why people are in a little bit more of a wait and see mode with him of, okay, show me what the real thing looks like, and then I can tell you if he's good or not. What's going to be interesting is what they decide to do with Will Levis. If they decide to actually give him another chance and make this a competition, which I don't think they're going to do, I think they're going to find a home for Will Levis. Quite frankly, I think Kansas City could be interesting with Patrick being out for the rest of the season, and then, you know, going to be a long off season with him rehabbing. Put Will Levis with Andy Reid. Who knows what might happen there, get a draft pick. But I'll be curious of just what internally they feel about Cam Ward, because I think most people are intrigued and they feel like he's got something if you put the right weapons around him. But at the same time, there are some decisions that he has made where some folks, including myself, are kind of going, all right, I'm gonna make a note, and I'm a little concerned about that. So again, it's kind of a let's get out of this season and see what happens next.
You mentioned some of the draft picks. Mike Borgonzi coming over from the Chiefs as the general manager. You know, at least what he's been able to do. I mean, I always say you get 1 year to blame everything on the previous regime, then it starts being on you. So far, what he's been able to do, the things he's got his fingerprints on, do people like it?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's getting a lot of positive reviews for this draft class, even though Femi Oladejo was a second-round pick as a pass rusher, but he had barely played the position, and he really wasn't doing much, and then he got hurt. So that's a little bit of a knock. Obviously, Cam Ward is going to be a different kind of evaluation process, but, you know, he's had guys in the fourth and the fifth and the later rounds that are making an impact with this team right now. So I look at that and go, okay, that's not a bad draft class. And then there's really only one guy from the previous regime that is really doing anything. Maybe two if you count Tajay Spears, but you know, Cedric Gray is a linebacker that Rand Carthon had drafted that has been well. But overall, I like what Borgonzi has put together from a drafting standpoint. The weird thing with the Titans is people don't know who to blame, because there's Chad Brinker, who is the president of football operations, that, okay, is he making the final call? Is it Borgonzi making the final call? Is it Amy making the final call? So it's a little bit confusing sometimes of who do we get to blame. But if Borgonzi is doing what they say he is, and that is he was the one that made the draft and had the draft board and took the players, I would say everybody's intrigued and feeling good about that.
How much does ownership have their fingerprints on what goes on? Like, we hear stories. You're there on the ground. Like, is ownership constantly got their hands on what's happening, or did they used to and they don't now? Where does that sit?
I would say she can't stay out of her own way is the best way to put it. She's involved. There's reports that, when Callahan was fired, that ultimately she was the one that made the final call, that, Borgonzi and Brinker basically wanted to just, hey, we know this isn't going to be a good year. Let's play this out. We'll reevaluate at the end of the year, but they didn't want to make the change. And she was like, nope, it's not working. Let's go ahead and make the change. She got Nashville to put in a lot of money for a stadium. She put in a little bit. The NFL put in a little bit. But now she's got to sell seats to that. And she will, because you'll have corporate sponsorships and all that stuff. And these are all things you're about to go through in Kansas City if with a new stadium or a renovated stadium or what have you. But she knows that she got to have a good football team to put on the field to put in the new stadium. So she's not showing a lot of patience. I think while she'll never admit it, she knows she jumped the gun and made a mistake on firing Vrabel and probably Robinson at the timing in which she did it. And so even though she's staying out of the spotlight, she's trying to be quiet. We know behind the scenes the thoughts are behind the scenes that she's the one that is ultimately having the final decision on everything.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, you answered the Vrabel question, like certainly looking longingly up to New England and what's going on. You mentioned needing to put a winning team on the field to sell PSLs and so on and so forth with the new stadium, but they do at least have 116. One of the sites I'm looking at, 116 million in cap space for next year. So, do you expect it to be, Borgonzi has his draft class, but they also go out and splash a lot of cash around in free agency?
I think that the idea is they're going to do what New England did, that they had the quarterback, they're going to draft around the quarterback, but they're going to then take free agency and take that money that they have to do those complementary pieces around the quarterback, whether that's, they have no secondary. They've either traded, their pieces of the secondary or they've been hurt. Who knows if Snead is going to play another snap for the Titans. They're going to cut some veterans, but yeah, I think that is the most intriguing part is, can they have another solid draft class, and then can they not try and fix everything with free agency, but supplement the draft and what's already there with free agency, which is, I think, how good teams are built. If they can do that, then I think Titans fans are very intrigued and excited about that.
Let's get to our final four, Chase. That's 4 quickies for you. I'll start you with this. Does L'Jarius Sneed ever play another down in a Titans uniform?
I say no. I think that and what's interesting is Mike Borgonzi was on both sides of that trade, but I think he knows that, the body's shot. There's obviously still legal trouble that's, out there. I think they just take their losses and move on.
Who is the next head coach? And if you don't have an idea, just tell me how serious they will look at Matt Nagy.
I think Matt Nagy is the next head coach. I think Borgonzi's ultimately going to have the influence on this hire. I think that Matt Nagy deserves another shot as a head coach. In talking to a lot of people, including when I've been on with you about him, I like what I hear. So I think ultimately it's going to be him.
All right. Are you a country music fan?
Big time.
Big time. Oh, wow. Big time.
I grew up in Nashville, man. I had to be.
Yeah, I just want to make sure. My daughter is making me a country music fan. So she likes it, and so I've been listening to some of the tunes. It's kind of wearing me down, right? I will tell you that. I've got I would say close to 10 country songs on my playlist, so I feel like I'm becoming a little bit more cultured. What is the best bar for tourists to hit for any Chiefs fans that are headed to Nashville?
You got to do Tootsie's. It's the old standard. It's been around a very long time. Hank used to go there, so if Hank used to go there, then you need to also. It backs up to the Ryman. You can enter from the front or the alley. They got a rooftop. So I would say Tootsie's.
Finally, give me your prediction on the game. Who wins? What's the score?
I'm going to say, even though no Mahomes, Chiefs are going to win this 17-14.
There it is. Going to be closer than Chiefs fans would like to admit, but he's still got the Chiefs winning. Chase, it's always great catching up with you. Thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on down the road.
All right, Saran. Appreciate it.
All right, last night, Sam Darnold became one of only 2 quarterbacks since 1978 to win a game after throwing an INT in the fourth quarter, down by at least 16 points. Who was the first quarterback to do that?
As this year winds For 3 decades, he's spoken to Hall of Famers. Now, he is one, but he still finds time each week to speak to us. He's our NFL insider and Pro Football Hall of Famer, Bob Glauber, only on the program.
That's right. It's our buddy Bob Glauber. Danny Clinkscale bails on us, so we bring in the great Bob Glauber. We are live at Tanner's, their 40th anniversary. The party has begun. The great Jamie Bluma has arrived. You know it's a festivity. When Jamie gets here, seeing a lot of old friends coming on out to celebrate 40 years. Tanner's has been giving you a great spot to have fun with family and friends, maybe after a Little League game. I know I've done that many, many times. Maybe to come watch the game. We got the football on here. Come check that out right now at Tanner's. They got all kinds of drink and food specials. Specials are good at all the Tanners all over Kansas. We're here at the original on 87th, 12906 West 87th in Lenexa, just west of I-35 on the north side of 87th. That's where you can find us. Take advantage of the $5.50 holiday bourbon cocktails, the domestic beer, and the schooner for $7. You get to keep the schooner. Take advantage of that. Got great specials on the. What'd you go? Did you get chicken lip basket? That's what Easton got. He's crushing some chicken lips right now. They got the sliders with fries for $9. Lots of nachos for $12. The half nachos for $8. Come on out. Tanner's is celebrating all day, 40 years. And again, all these specials are good at all the Tanners all over Kansas. But the party, our buddy Steve Bertano, one of the founders of Tanner's, is here. Talking to him, it was great. Our friend Tom Infant is here, one of the iconic people, a restaurateur and ran a bar many, many years. Great guy, great people here. So come on out and enjoy a little fun. We enjoy bringing back our friend Bob Glauber, NFL Hall of Fame writer, New York Newsday alum. He joins us here in the program right now. Bob, how are you, buddy?
I'm great. Better talking to you, my man.
It is always great to talk to you, and I'm just curious, the outside perspective of what should Kansas City Chiefs fans be thinking right now as their 10 straight years in the playoffs, their 3 straight Super Bowl run, their 7 straight conference championship run, all of that is ending. Maybe their 12-year run of consecutive winning seasons. All those things are or might be wrapping up. What should the emotions be for a Chiefs fan right now as you view it as an outsider?
Well, I would say mixed emotions. I always, whenever we would end a vacation with my kids, they'd be all sad and glum. And, my wife and I would just say, oh, don't be sad. It's over. Be happy it happened. Well, it's kind of what it is now. I mean, you got to appreciate how dominant this run was. And it truly was dominant, among the best of all time. But these things run in cycles, and it's over for now. And if it gets back to a championship level, you're going to have a quarterback who's reconstituted after a devastating injury. You're probably going to have a new tight end that you're going to have to focus on. It's going to be now. I think Andy Reid would like to see it through. I hope he sees it through because he's uniquely equipped to deal with the kind of transition that you need to get through this. Now, I think the big thing to me is, this is Patrick Mahomes. It's always been about Patrick Mahomes, and it still is. And I think quarterbacks, especially, there's a middle age period, and they go through a certain thing. Whether it's psychologically, whether it's physically. And I think Patrick Mahomes is there now. He's been a championship quarterback. He's if he retired today, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. But he's not going to do that. He's a competitive guy. He wants to keep playing as long as possible. So I always find it fascinating to see quarterbacks, the way they deal with that kind of middle age and then get over it, get through it. And then on the other side, it's like, whoa, this is still awesome because, he sees the game even better. He's still physically okay. And, good things can happen. Now, good things can happen only if they surround him and continue to surround him with good players, and that starts with the offensive line. They got to fix that. I know they fixed it through the draft, in a lot of ways with high picks, but that's got to be, the foundational piece for Patrick Mahomes. And then you go from there.
It's interesting. Where do you think? Because I remember you and I talking about, Donovan McNabb, and this was back when I was having to defend Andy Reid to people like yourself. And I said, like, look at what happened to Donovan McNabb when he left Andy Reid. He went to, Washington with Mike Shanahan, and he wasn't good. And we were talking, and you're like, well, he got old. And I said, well, he's 32 years old. And listen, he didn't play, but just a couple more years and he was out. And so I think he was getting old. I think it was also Andy. I think it was both. But, how well do you think Patrick Mahomes is going to age? Right? Like, to me, the hope, the wish is that he's going to be Aaron Rodgers-esque. A guy that was very fleet with his feet, could really run. And as he lost some of that athleticism, the other parts of his game grew. Well, but Donovan McNabb, I'm not saying he was Aaron Rodgers. He wasn't as good as Aaron Rodgers at his prime, but he wasn't able to evolve. He wasn't able to become the pocket passer. How confident are you that Patrick Mahomes is going to evolve, and when he does, he's lost the legs, that he's going to be able to just stand in the pocket and make it all happen from there?
I don't know that Patrick Mahomes will lose his legs, so to speak. I think he's going to come back from this in good shape, maybe even in better shape. Because let's face it, he's had a little bit of a dad bod, which is not terrible for a quarterback. So it's all right to have a little something extra. But I think he's going to attack it very seriously and very hard, and I think he's going to come back probably a fitter athlete. So I don't think you have to worry about him losing his mobility because of a knee injury. Look, it's a bad knee injury. It's ACL, but these are kind of garden variety at this point with professional athletes. He will rehab. He will rehab well. He will get back to what he was, and if not a little bit better. So I don't worry about that part of it. I kind of look at, quarterbacks, athletes, everybody, workers, whoever you are, and if you're successful, and you get to a period, you keep doing it, you keep being successful. After a while, the challenges are different and unique. So, he's got to kind of grind a little bit mentally and, get through it. But championship athletes do this, and they reconstitute and they find new challenges. And, it's a good thing for him. He's going to find, new vistas are going to open for him. I just know it. And he's going to look back, in 5 years and say, you know what, I didn't want to get hurt, but it was good in that, I kind of, was able to focus on things a little differently and come back with a more unique outlook on things. I have a question for you, though, before we go on.
Okay.
All right, and I haven't read it. The week before he got hurt, he was on the bench and he had a heating pad, I believe, on his knee that he got injured on. Was that the start of it? Has anyone written this?
Settle down, Bob. The rest of us are still covering the league, and we are paying attention. Okay, we don't need you to tell us.
I'm asking.
Yeah,
because I'm still have the eyes of a reporter. Go ahead. Still got my game, man. I'm not working, but I got my game. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know you do. He was on the injury report. He was limping in the game. He was clearly hurt beforehand. Okay. I think there is a relevant question to be asked. Look, guys, he's played, Sam McDowell, the columnist for the Star, and I do our podcast, and he said it this morning. He's like, listen, he's played whatever he was in that game, he's played more hurt than that, right? Because, if you pose a question like, okay, their playoff hopes were slim, and he's already banged up, should he have been out there? Well, there were playoff hopes. I'm not. I know you're not. No, I know you're not. But others are, and so I think it's just an appropriate point to bring it up at this time right now. And so I think, look, you got to decide. When you are you playing everybody when you're in it? Then you're playing everybody when you're in it, and that's what the Chiefs have done, and Andy Reid has always done. And he limped his way all the way to a championship. So I don't think anybody should mind. But yeah, I think it's clear that this injury. The knee was not as healthy as it was. It was an awkward fall. I mean, I might be totally wrong. It may have had nothing to do with what ultimately ended up happening, but it just seems impossible to think that it didn't at least contribute to it finally snapping.
I don't ask it. There's no nefarious, malicious kind of speculation or anything. But I kind of relate to it in this respect. I actually once had a knee injury. I tore my ACL. And before I tore it, this is in soccer, 20 years ago, before I tore it, something happened in my indoor season where I'm running. Now, you're going to say, oh, Glauber, relating to himself. Sure. But anyway, so I'm running. I still got...
By the way, can I just tell you, I was like,
Yeah.
I almost interrupted you and went, okay, here we go with when I hurt my knee story.
I know. But listen, it's relevant, and you'll see why. So I'm playing indoor, and I get kicked from behind. And I stop. I go, what the hell are you doing? What are you talking? And the guy says, what are you talking about? I said, you fucking kicked me. He says, I didn't touch you. So I'm like, get out of here. And he truly didn't touch it. Well, it was like the little thing went. Something happened. And
Right.
something got a little stretched there. Okay, I tape it up and play with a brace. But you just play with ace bandage in the next few weeks. Next season, and it blows out. And that's why there was a little start of something there. And that's why I asked about Mahomes. And I think I think there is some correlation. It doesn't. He should have played. There's no way that Andy Reid could not play him. You stretch your ACL a little bit. There's a tiny tear in there. Don't play. Well, maybe you brace him up, but no. I'm not saying don't play him. I'm just saying I think that thing started, the week before. And yes, he was on the report. I want to make sure it was the same knee, and I just think there was something. It just completed the tear because he's playing friggin' pro football, and that's what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And listen, he has had a lot of wear and tear, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and then this year he's had a lot of wear and tear, and it's
Sure.
it's a rough, violent, physical game, right? And so it's these things are going to happen. We're talking to Bob Glauber, former NFL insider for us, NFL Hall of Fame writer Bob Glauber, with us here in the program. So where do the Chiefs go from here? Right, they're $35 million over the cap for next year. With lots of positions still to fill. Where what is the plan moving forward for them? Is this where they go, okay, they think they're going to get him back to start the year, but do they take this opportunity and make it just a complete reset?
Well, I think it gets all relative when you have a quarterback like that and when you have a team that has accomplished as much as it did. Some things are going to be they're just organically work themselves out. The Kelsey situation will work itself out. I don't see them playing next year. I just don't. Other situations in terms of age. Now, Chris Jones is an expensive player. He's still a really good player, but you get to that point now where you say, hey, what do we do? I still think he's a big part of that team, that defense, but you at least start to ask the question. And, it's with the big players. That's where these championship teams in the salary cap era have kind of deteriorated, where you try to keep the guts of it together, the quarterback, the pass rusher, the defensive back. You try, and you try to work around that. And if you draft well, you have a shot. The Packers have been very competitive over the years. They haven't won championships, but they've been very competitive for, since the start of the Brett Favre era, and that's a long time. We're talking 25, 30 years. You got the quarterback, and you can kind of work around it. It's just a matter of degrees whether you can build a championship team around that, and that remains to be seen. That's Andy Reid and Brett Veach.
Yeah, no, for sure. And by the way, Bob, I'm sure you're in your basement right now. Go back over by the window or wherever the good spot is.
I moved to the window. I'm at the window. I moved here. I swear.
Yeah, get to the good spot where we get the good reception. For God's sake. You think we haven't talked to you for a while. We think you'd at least be ready this time. Crying out loud.
Right. Hey, how about Curtis Seabolt hiding from this segment after he ruined my Twitter career and caused a hack that
it does need to be pointed out that Curtis's Twitter is what infected you. That Bob Glauber, Jeff Flanagan, longtime outstanding writer here in Kansas City, he got infected from Curtis's Twitter. You got infected. Tell the story. Real quick before we break. What was the what did you get that from Curtis's old Twitter account?
All right, so I got a direct message from Curtis Seabolt. But I haven't talked to Curtis in a while, and, so Curtis, hey, I'm up for this podcast. I'd really appreciate your vote to, I'm competing for a podcast on Google and some high-profile podcast. Oh, Kurt. Help out Kurt. Of course we're going to help out Kurt. You go click on the link and you see, okay, vote for me, and then it's like, okay, what's your X handle, right? What's your password? I'm like, wait a minute, this is weird. What? That's weird. So I DM Curtis. I see it again. I just leave it. I see it a couple times. I try it again. I'm like, I'm just going to leave this alone. Then I DM Curtis, direct message Curtis. Hey, I'm getting this seems wonky. Is it real? I did DM back like a day or two later. Yes, it's real. Okay. Hey, so I keep going with it, and I'm like, so whatever. About 5 days later, yeah, it seems your account has been hacked. Your user email is now this. I'm like, oh God, oh my God, Curtis. So I eventually get it back. I'm hearing all these horror stories. John McClane took 5 weeks to get it back. I took 5 days where I had to send emails and file a report. All of a sudden, it's back. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God.
So you did get yours back because Curtis just blew it off and started a new one.
Well, he started a new one. I'm like, okay, if I can get it back. Or else I just said, listen, destroy this account. You're sending, it's hacked. Just get rid of it. But they gave it back. They reconstituted it, and it's back. Right? I'm like, thank God. And people were just saying, hey, Bob, glad to have you back. Because it's weird. So I get it back, and then I look at my DMs. There was a DM sent from my account to every single follower of mine.
Yes.
Like 45,000 followers are getting, and it says, please vote for me. I'm like, oh, my God. Well, I get a call from Calvin Watkins, former PFWA president and Cowboys beat writer. Hey, I got hacked. I voted for you. I said, you did? Oh, son of a gun. I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm just done. I just deleted the account. Screw it. 2008, and it's done. Bye.
Wow.
It's not worth it. Yeah.
So do you have a new account?
No. I'm on that other one, Blue Sky. That seems to be a little bit more, humane. Yeah. It's just normal. You're on that. I see your stuff on that.
Curtis is listening. He sends us a text in all caps. I'm innocent.
Yeah, he's innocent.
How bad? No, Curtis felt. I left Curtis a voicemail, and he says, "Oh my God, I'm sorry. This guy Jeff Flanagan got it too. I'm really, really sorry." And I'm like, "Oh, no problem. Damn, I just wanted you to know." So then I realized, all right, this is bad, and a lot of people in the sports industry are getting this and losing the battle. So, I mean, X is a bit of a hellhole anyway. So I'm like, I'm out.
Hey, listen, it's social media. Like there it is. Yeah. Enter at your own risk. You know, like
exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure I got sent one, but I don't look at mine close enough to ever see that kind of stuff, and I would have been like, I ain't got time, Curtis. Sorry.
No, but like I'm looking at the list. Like O.C. Minora got one. You got one. These are very, respectful and respected people in the business. Brian Billick, please vote for me. I'm like, all these people are seeing this. I'm holding my tin cup out. Like, this is embarrassing. Get me out of here.
This is fantastic. Yeah. Bob Glauber, social media cancer. Bob Glauber joins us here in the program. We'll talk some more Chiefs, talk some more NFL with the Hall of Fame writer, New York Newsday's best ever, Bob Glauber, is with us here in the program. We're live at Tanner's. It's their 40th anniversary. Come on out and enjoy. Lots of folks here. Oh, lots of Tanner's sweatshirts. Everybody breaking out their official Tanner's gear. They got great food specials, great drink specials. Celebrating 40 years. We're at the 87th location. All the specials are good at all the Kansas locations. Come on out, celebrate 40 years of Tanner's.
The program with Soren Petro.
I've had about enough of this crap. I'm leaving.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. It is coming down to crunch time. Christmas is less than a week away. So what are you waiting for? Why not make a big splash? Why not be a big hit? Go to Jocelyn's Jewelry. Listen, if you want to put a smile on any loved one's face, you'll buy them beautiful jewelry from Jocelyn's Jewelry, Kansas City's best for almost 50 years, located at the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. Unique, beautiful jewelry designs with the best, friendliest staff anywhere around. You're treated like family the moment you walk in the door at Jocelyn's. You'll notice the difference. They treat you like family, and they're experts. You know, some of Gary's staff has been with him for more than 30 years. They're truly a jeweler, not somebody who was selling cars or mortgages a couple of weeks ago that now is just, okay, I'll go work at the mall for the big box store. No, Jocelyn's Jewelry has experts in jewelry. So whatever questions you've got, they can answer. Listen, Jocelyn's Jewelry has been my go-to for jewelry for more than 20 years. Love taking my kids in, letting them look, and help pick a gift for mom. The staff is so friendly and so kind and so patient. And like I said, so knowledgeable. No matter what you want, maybe it's a birthstone piece. They've got hundreds of those to choose from. Tennis bracelets, stackable necklaces, pearls, diamond stud earrings, engagement rings. Got almost 1,000 of those to choose from. What are you waiting for? Get to Jocelyn's Jewelry right now. Jocelyn's Jewelry is on the southeast corner of 95th and Antioch. You can find them online at joslynsjewelry.com. Exquisite jewelry and exceptional service. It's what you get every time you go to Jocelyn's Jewelry, the gold standard in fine jewelry.
Men, it's the holiday season and it's packed with family events and long days. But if your energy is drained, you're not sleeping well, and your sex drive has disappeared, it can be hard to feel festive. These could be the signs of low testosterone. If that sounds familiar, this is your season to take action at Heartland Men's Health. Low T can create a long list of problems. Your workouts are flat, you put on weight, your sleep suffers, your focus fades, and you just don't feel like the same man you were in your 20s and 30s. Many guys blame it on getting older and never realize there are real medical treatments that can bring back your drive and confidence. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating low T, and men across Kansas City have seen life-changing results. In only a few weeks, energy returns, sleep improves, focus sharpens, and your sex drive comes back strong. If you think you might be low T, take the 2-minute quiz at heartlandmenshealth.com and schedule your $99 consult that includes full labs and a full medical review. If you choose to start testosterone treatment the same day as your appointment, that visit is free. Heartland Men's Health has locations in Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com today.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support.
All right, our end of the hour answer. Last night, Sam Darnold became one of only 2 quarterbacks since 1978 to win a game after throwing a pick in the fourth quarter, down at least 16 points. Who was the first quarterback to pull this off?
So massive comeback in the fourth after a pick. I mean, if this were Curtis, there'd be a decent chance it was, Patrick Mahomes. Let's bring in Bob Albert as well. Give Bob a shot at this. NFL insider, former NFL insider, Hall of Fame writer, formerly of the New York Newsday, Bob Glauber with us. Bob, do you know the answer to this one?
I don't know the answer. I would say like a Brady or a Joe Montana.
I'm going to say Favre would be a candidate. You're probably right. It's probably somebody that doesn't throw that many interceptions.
This guy was known as more of a game manager.
Oh.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. Ding, ding, ding.
Wow.
Nailed it.
Is that the game in Indy?
That was 2016 versus the Chargers, down 27-10 with 12:53 left.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, game manager, I was going to say Brad Johnson.
Bob, what is the story with your phone?
Can you hear me? I hear everything fine. How's this?
I don't care how you hear it. I care how my listeners hear it.
I am. Listen, all I hear all those commercials, and I'm like, wow, Robert's still making it rain for Petro, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. A couple of days ago, we decided we were going to have you on and Place of Danny on a Friday, and our salespeople went out. They're like, oh, my God, it's an avalanche of advertisers. Yeah, you nailed it, Bob. You nailed exactly how it's come down.
Yeah, sloppy seconds for clean skin. What was his excuse? What was he got? Shopping to do?
He's a sour, sad, sickly, bitter little man.
Wow.
We don't really know what he does when he goes home. We're pretty sure he lives in a hole.
Okay. How's my man Sando doing?
Mike is doing good.
Good.
He's doing good.
Smart guy. You got a smart guy in there. That's good.
He got mad at me yesterday because I didn't get the questions to him first.
Oh, you send him questions?
Yeah, he wants them. He likes to have them first.
Oh, what? That dude is soft, man. That is soft, Petro. Oh my God! I'm glad you told me that. Well,
listen. It's actually. I think it's really smart. He's like, hey, what are we going to talk about so I can be prepared and ready to go? And that's what everyone says. Like, gosh, Sando's so much more prepared than that last guy.
That's full of crap. And I mean. Dude, I didn't need the questions ahead of time because you know what? I know the stuff. It's like, let's go. Wow. Stand up. Very soft. Very, very soft.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Well,
okay.
We'll see if Mike loses some sleep over your soft comments when it's all said and done. But just for the record, Bob, when Bob was stepping away from, retiring, I said, well, who do we get? He said, we'll go get Mike Sando. And I knew Mike from being at the Super Bowl and stuff, and so Bob is giving him a hard time, but Mike came with Bob's recommendation, so FYI.
You're welcome.
He's been great. He's done a great job. You did a fantastic job in setting us up for sure.
Does he sell as many ads?
Twice as many. Twice as many.
Sando's intro is sponsored.
So, yeah, a little different.
For the record, I love Sando like very few others in the business. He is the best. He is the best. It's awesome.
He does a great job. We're very happy with Mike. So, yes. All right, let's talk about, what has to happen for this team. I mentioned the cap being over. We know Patrick Mahomes is coming back. Talk about Andy Reid. Whether or not he's still got the fire, I think he's got to figure that out. But Trent McDuffie in particular. I pointed out Jeremy Fowler had a thing this year where he had, the top 10 at each position, according to, NFL front office people. And at the cornerback position, 8 of the 10 were 25 or younger, one of which, by the way, I think number 4 was Trent McDuffie. But I noted 8 of the 10 were 25 or younger. The next one was 26, and then there was one that was 28. And so to me, based upon that math, like I remember like Jalen Ramsey, best corner in football, and then like 3 years later, everyone's like, yeah, he's lost a step.
Yeah.
Like no position, maybe only running back, but I think even more so corner is so dependent upon the quick twitch ability to react. And like so for me, while they haven't figured it out yet, go ahead and get everything you can for Trent McDuffie, get as many draft picks as you can, and use that to start restocking the roster.
Yep. I again, and he fits that mold of expensive guy. What are you getting in terms of productivity for the long term? You got to look at this team as they're a ways away now. Now it's surprising because they've been in the Super Bowl just about every year for the last dozen years. It's been a ridiculous run here. So you have to draft well. I mean, that's it. And you keep just a few cornerstone players who are, if they're older and more expensive, you got to either redo their contracts or you got to bite the bullet. And Larry Johnson flashed through my mind here, because you were always the one to say you got to end it sooner rather than later. And you were right. And how many years ago is that? 30, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to have an eye, and they know. Veach knows. Andy Reid knows. I think they wrote it until they couldn't. They wrote it until they couldn't anymore, right? So now they're at that time, and Mahomes isn't going anywhere, and he shouldn't go anywhere. Yet you have to have that. He's going to be fine, and he's going to be awesome. But you have to fill in just about everywhere around him, and you can upgrade. Every position you can upgrade at this point. So, it starts with Mahomes, and then you got to make some tough decisions, and McDuffie is one of those that fits that group.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know that they're going to do it. I mean, they were talking. The comments of Brett Veach in training camp was that they were talking to his agent, and this is what they did with Trey Smith. They talked to his agent 2 years ago, come through, and then they ended up paying top dollar for him, and that's my fear. Is that they're going to throw another giant contract onto it. And I think, number one, this year part of the reason they're a little bit stale is they didn't bring in any new blood, really. It's basically the exact same team plus its draft picks, minus whoever the draft picks took their place on. And so I do think that they need more changeover on the roster to keep things fresh. And I do think that they have – I think they're in pretty good shape. I mean, you said they're a ways away. I mean, if as long as Josh Simmons is going to be the guy, if he's back, if he's going to be playing ball, and you've got left tackle solved, and you've got quarterback solved, like that's a long way to go. I mean, I do think that the one thing they have to do is look at the team and go, whatever it takes to make the offense elite. Like, we'll get around to making the defense better later when we can. But right now, whatever it takes to make the offense elite. And, if you can always, if you can score, you can win a game.
Yeah.
Right? But if you can't score, you're not necessarily going to win. Like, it's an offensive game now. And I think that has to be their plan. So Trent McDuffie gives you picks, and you can, look, they can use an edge rusher on defense. I think they could use a number one wideout. They could definitely use a running back. Getting more picks gives them a chance to address all those needs.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. And I think, listen, they're coming off a Super Bowl appearance, but don't forget, in that Super Bowl, they were mauled. They were run over. And that was not like, okay, that was a sign of things to come, really. And this has been a down year. Now it's been a down year for Baltimore. Coming into the year, Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo. Here we go again. Right now, Buffalo is okay. I think Baltimore is still in contention for a division, and Kansas City's done, for the playoffs. But a lot changes quickly, and Kansas City is not close right now. They're just not. I mean, so you hate to say it because they're so soon, after they won a Super Bowl, which capped a bunch of Super Bowl runs. But that's what it is, man.
So I just want to be clear.
Go ahead.
well, with all these one-score games they lost, and you're saying they're not close, then I want to be clear. Then they were miles ahead last year.
Right now, I'm talking about right now, going into next year. I don't look at this team. You know, you got a quarterback coming off an ACL. Who knows if he's going to be ready for the start of the season?
Well, you're the guy that said this is just like normal business these days.
No, but is he going to be ready in September? We don't know. That's a fairly quick timeline. It's a 9-month, deal. And you don't mess with that. You don't bring him back too soon.
Right.
So there's questions of it. In the preseason analysis of the Kansas City Chiefs next year, there are going to be questions. Is Mahomes going to be ready? Is Chris Jones' time, done? Travis Kelce, I think his situation will have been resolved by then. I mean, this is going to be a different team going into next year. And if you're going to all of a sudden look at Kansas City as, oh, okay, you got it, you can never count them out. Well, okay, there's some issues going on.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And when I ask these questions, it's not because I'm arguing with you. I just want to really make sure we're vetting the process, because I do think getting the answer to this question correct is important, right? Like you gotta know exactly where you are and be honest about where you are. And so from that standpoint, because if you're like they're not close, then everything should be about 27.
I get what you're saying. You want to compete in 26, and if Mahomes is okay, you will be able to compete in 26. All right, you've got the running back position solid. You can do some things at receiver. Rice will be a year better, and it's still going to be a good, better than average team. And maybe top 10 team, but you're not looking at Kansas City anymore as they're the team to beat. And Soren, we've said it for 10 years. It would be like, Bob, who's going to go to the Super Bowl? I can't see anybody with Kansas City again. But I wouldn't say that here.
No, and I'm fine with that. But I think part of what got them here was injuries, right? Like which you can get healthy from. Josh Simmons leaving the team for 5 games. So I mean, I hear what you're saying, and like I said, I'm not arguing with you, because I think Chris Jones, to me, I would do what it takes to get things right. Chris Jones is such a hard one, because he's a $45 million cap hit next year, but he's $64 million to cut. So you could post June 1 him and make him 32 and 32. And so you save $13 million in year 1, but that means he's 32 in year 2. And actually, if he plays, he's $19.5 million to cut in 27. So, you're better now if you cut him this year, cap-wise, but worse next year. And, so, how do you play that out? And I think what's going to happen, what's scary to me is Chris Jones has a $16 million roster bonus, which I think they're going to convert to a signing bonus. So they'll bring $11 million down on his number for this year, but that'll make him $5.5 million more expensive next year. And they're kind of slowly headed towards Saintsville. If they do that, at some point, I think you've got to be and I think they're going to try hard to sign Trent McDuffie. And then that's yet another giant contract that they're going to have. In year 1, he'll be 1.5 in base salary, and the signing bonus will be fairly low, and so he'll only count $6.5 million next year. But then on the back end, you'll be like, are you kidding me? Year 3, Trent McDuffie's a $42 million cap hit? At some point, they've got to get out of this cycle.
Yeah. But the way you get out of that cycle now is you start, you draft. You become, the Seahawks when they were in their element, and when they were winning the Super Bowl. Those were great drafts, and John Schneider dominated. Right. That's what you got to hope to get back to, and it's not easy. It's just not easy.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why you trade Trent McDuffie is to get more picks. Their best draft that they spent the kingdom hyping up was what had the Tyreek Hill trade at the middle of it. Yeah. All right, let's take a break. Bob Glauber, one more with Bob. We're at Tanner's. It's their 40th anniversary. Got all kinds of drinks and eat specials celebrating 40 years of Tanner's here in Kansas City. 12906 West 87th in Lenexa, the original Tanner's here on 87th. That's where we broadcast from. Specials are good at all the Tanner's in Kansas.
The program with Soren Petrov.
Welcome to Jumpville. Population, you.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. Football season is in full swing, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. You can make entries and win money right now in Missouri. Playing on Underdog is super easy. Choose whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like rushing yards, receptions, touchdowns, and more. Get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. You heard me right, up to 5,000 times your cash. Listen, all you got to do is pick your favorite player. Like Gardner Minshew. No one thinks he's going to do anything. I think he's going to have a pretty good game. He's got a 2-to-1 touchdown-interception ratio. He's played competent NFL football. I'm going higher on the Gardner Minshew passing yards. It's just that easy. Pick your player, pick your stat. Go higher or lower. And if you get your entries right, you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. Plus, as you unwrap the Underdog app. That's right. Download it today. Use promo code SEREN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code SEREN. That's right. Use the promo code SOREN to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code SEREN. And you've unwrapped the app. You can unwrap tons of promos all throughout the holidays. They're kicking it off with a boost for the Jake Paul fight. That's right. It's tonight. The Jake Paul fight. They've got all kinds of boosts that are going on. He steps back into the ring. Underdog is dropping a 50% boost to crank up the action for the chance to win up to 5,000 times your cash. There's no better time to be playing on Underdog than right now. Download the app. Use the promo code SEREN. Score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. Underdog. Make plays. Win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
As organizations seek more flexibility and cost-effective solutions, many are exploring alternatives to VMware. Stay ahead of the curve by joining Choice Solutions' next webinar, where you'll get the latest insights and guidance on all of your options. The webinar takes place on January 22nd. It's a great opportunity to learn from experts and make informed decisions for your business. Reserve your spot and get all the details by visiting choicesolutions.com/events. That's choicesolutions.com/events. Don't miss this chance to explore smarter solutions for your IT strategy.
All right, talking to Bob Glauber as we're live here at the 40th anniversary of Tanner's. We're at the 87th location in Lexington. The original Tanner's, celebrating 40 years with drink specials, food specials. It's been a great place to come to watch a game, hang out with friends. Post-game for the Little League, you name it, everybody is here celebrating. You can come down, be a part of the celebration here at Tanner's on 87th. Got the $7 domestic beer. You get to keep the glass with that. They got a special anniversary glass, so come on down, take advantage of it. It's here at Tanner's on 87th. We're talking to Bob Glauber, our NFL insider from back in the day. Bob, who is, or let me put it this way. How much pressure is there on Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen to get off their ass and get into the Super Bowl now that Patrick Mahomes is out of their way?
I would say the pressure is equal, but, Lamar has been a little hurt. I think Josh is in a position now to have something to say about it. And I think, there's a little destiny vibe around him this year. And, that comes New England is phenomenal. And, comeback win against Baltimore, I think it was week 1 or 2. So I think Josh is in a little bit better position to kind of have a say about that. Just Lamar, it's just been a weird season in Baltimore. If they win the division, they go to the playoffs. If they don't win the division, I don't think they're going. And it's just going to be one of those, off year, down year. I don't think Harbaugh gets fired. So I would say Josh is in a better position. And I feel pretty good about him, actually.
The Ravens, the losses the Ravens have taken on of late are bad, right?
Yep.
When they lost to the Bengals at home, that was bad. Losing the Steelers was bad. But Patriots at Packers at Steelers is what they have left, and they're chasing the Steelers by a game. Steelers have at Lions, at Browns, Ravens.
Yeah, it's tough, and you can kind of say there's a loss in there for each of them going and heading into that last game. Could be a winner type of situation. So it's anybody's game. I have a neighbor who's a devout Steelers fan, and he has been hoping that they bottom out and just flame out, move on to a new coach and get a quarterback. Why don't you appreciate the fact that it's no losing seasons? That guy's entire tenure, and Mike Tomlin hasn't won a playoff game in a long time. So it's a fascinating division. Didn't go as anybody expected, and Aaron Rodgers. That signing is now starting to pay off a little bit.
All right, let's get to our Final Four with Bob Glauber. Bob, I will start you with this. Why are you the only old guy that doesn't own a landline?
Oh, I have a landline. Did you want to use that?
Yes, you jackass.
You guys got soft, man. You just call the cell. I got a landline.
Oh, my God.
I got a landline.
Choke you with the cord. Choke you with the cord on that landline. All right, who gets to the playoffs first, Jets or Giants?
Oh, my God. Oh, I want to vomit. Giants.
Giants?
They have
Okay.
a quarterback, yeah.
All right. The NFL MVP will be who?
I think it'll be Josh Allen. Or,
Okay.
maybe Matthew Stafford, and, maybe, but go ahead. I think number 4 will kind of wrap that one. But I would say Josh Allen at this point.
Okay, Super Bowl prediction. Who beats who?
That's it. I'd say Buffalo beats Los Angeles Rams. So it will be Josh Allen versus Matthew Stafford, and I think Josh Allen will get that Super Bowl.
All right, there it is. Bob, you're the man, kind of. We appreciate it. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. Happy holidays to you, and we'll talk to you down the road.
You too. Sounds great, Ray. I always keep talking, my man.
You're the best. Bob Glauber. We take a break. We're at Tanner's 40th anniversary.
All right, how many teams in NFL history have gained 580 yards and been +3 on turnovers and still lost?
For 40 years, Tanner's has been your go-to spot to come watch a game, get together after the Little League, just meet your buddies, your pals, come out for a little dinner, maybe a cocktail or two. It's 40 years. They're celebrating their 40th anniversary. We're at Tanner's on 87th. All these food and drink specials are good at all Tanner's on the Kansas side, so take advantage of it. $8 for the chicken lip basket. That's what Easton went for. $9 for the sliders with fries. You get the Lotso nachos for $12. The half nachos for $8. Take advantage of great domestic beer specials. Keep the glass. You can get the new scooter they've got with the 40th logo on it. It's a nice collectible. You can take that home, plus specials on Modelo drafts. Get the 20-ounce Modelo for just $5. You can't beat that deal. It's at Tanner's. They're celebrating all day, all night here with their 40th anniversary at the original on 87th, but you can celebrate at any Tanner's. And like I said, all these specials are good at all Kansas location Tanner's. Let's get things started on the drill. We go to South Bend, Indiana. Jack Sobel is with us. blueandgold.com on 3 Sports Network, the ND site. Jack, thank you so much for the time. How are you, sir?
Great. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Let's start with the overall reaction. We understand Notre Dame being upset about not being in the playoffs, but what did everyone think of Pete Bavacqua talking about damaging the ACC relationship? Was he cheered early on? Is he still celebrated for that reaction?
Yeah, I think generally celebrated. Honestly, I think a lot of people here were upset that it wasn't more visceral, if that makes sense. Like, they wanted stronger words, especially at that press conference. But that's only one part of the anger that's here in South Bend. I think the big source of the reason why Notre Dame is upset is that not necessarily being left out of the playoff itself. They always knew that was a possibility after they started 0-2, but the fact that they were ranked in the playoff all 5 weeks up until they were kind of switched with Miami at the last second. They felt like they were kind of duped in that regard.
Yeah, I get that for sure. And listen, I think they've got plenty of reason to be upset. But, no bowl game. I mean, they lose, millions of dollars in revenue by not going to a bowl game. Do people celebrate that decision?
I think the decision is generally looked upon favorably in Notre Dame land. The logic that the team gave was that they would have had probably more opt-outs than usual just because of how upset they were that they felt like the rug was kind of pulled out under them regarding the playoff. So they felt like they didn't want the last representation of the 2025 team to kind of be a shell of itself, if that makes sense. So it was a player-led decision. Marcus Freeman talked to the captains. They told him that this was the way they wanted to go. He was supportive. Pete Bavacqua was supportive. And that is the way they went. So I think that decision is looked upon much more favorably, I should say, here in South Bend than nationally.
Yeah, I don't like it. Not Notre Dame, all of them, any of them that turned down the bowl. I just think it's a bad precedent. But I do understand there are a lot of factors that go into it. What is the long-term future of Notre Dame? Some people are speculating that this is going to get them into a conference, that conference being the Big Ten. What do you think this means if they would miss the playoffs again next year? Like, what is the future of Notre Dame?
Well, personally, I don't think they'll miss the playoffs again next year. I think they'll be their early season schedule is much easier. They're going to have a returning starting quarterback. I think they're going to be a dangerous team. But long term, they've always said that they would join a conference if one of 3 things was no longer true. No longer true, I should say. Number 1, they don't have a path to a national championship. Number 2, they don't have a home for their non-football sports. And number 3, they lose their TV deal or have some other kind of financial disparity between not being in a conference and being independent. Right now, none. Right now, all those things are in Notre Dame's favor. They have a path to the playoffs. The ACC is still their home for non-football sports, and they have the NBC deal, and they feel like financially they're in a perfectly good spot. So I don't think they're joining conference anytime soon. It is always on the table if one of those 3 things were to change, but I don't know if that's going to happen in the immediate future.
Does anybody worry, since you said that part about all the other sports and how they schedule? Like, for me, I don't understand why the ACC continues to be Notre Dame's bitch, which is what they are. They carry all the sports that don't carry any weight. And anybody, the women's basketball team's a pretty good program. The rest of them, they're not the sports that pay the bills. So what if the ACC said, you know what, your little tantrum, bye-bye?
Then that would change the home for non-revenue sports, non-football sports. and they would consider joining the conference unless they found another conference to make that arrangement. But I think the ACC still, despite Notre Dame's kind of reaction to the ACC social media campaign for Miami and all that stuff, they still see this as a symbiotic relationship, both for TV ratings, attendance in football. Pete Bavacco actually pulled out this stat that about 23% of the time ACC stadiums sell out. When Notre Dame is in town, that goes up to 90%. So I think the ACC will still give Notre Dame a home for its non-football sports as long as Notre Dame is willing.
Yeah, listen, there are prostitutes everywhere, and the ACC is one of them. Jack Sobel in South Bend. Great stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate it. Have yourself a great weekend.
Thank you. You as well.
Orlando Alzagari, the Big O radio show on YouTube in Miami, Florida's next. Orlando, how are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic, my brother. Hope all is well there.
Yeah, all is good. All is not well with Tua Tagovailoa, though. What's the reaction to him getting benched?
Well, it's kind of like about time because he's just completely off physically. He just doesn't look. It looks like that hip injury he took last year kind of did a number on him. And right now, I think Tua's like in a crossroads in his life, and he can't tell us about either one. He can't tell us, yeah, that hip injury limited me, but I'm going to try to gut it out until the team says, you're not good enough, we're going to cut you, and I'm going to leave with all my guaranteed money. Or, this is not a franchise that really sets up anybody for success. Maybe he's also saying, hey, man, I'll just end this thing here, not play well, finish this thing out, get cut, and I can move on to somewhere else on my own. I don't know, but right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, Tua looks like he's tuned out right now. I don't know if this whole thing has worn him down, beat him down, or that injury finally was the final kill shot.
He's got a $56 million cap hit next year, but a $99 million hit if you cut him. I mean, with the Dolphins, actually do that. We've seen it done. Russell Wilson was cut with a massive hit that was there. Would the Dolphins actually go down that road?
I think they are, and remember, if they do it all at once, the Russell Wilson one was 31% of the cap. If they cut Tua, it'll be 33% of the cap. But if they cut him on June 1st, which is I think what they'll do, that'll split it up, and then they can actually ease it out over a couple of years. Dude, the Dolphins aren't going anywhere. It's not like they're a player or two or a quarterback away from competing for anything whatsoever. So, I mean, who are we kidding ourselves? So they can take a couple of years and do the whole reset job that they've done here like 7 times over since Shula left. So, that's what they'll do. They get to reset again, and a new GM and a new coach, and they have actually extra picks going into the next couple of seasons because Chris Greer in his final year, in his final offseason, he actually made deals for future picks instead of actually trying to mortgage the entire future for the one season.
Do we see them cut Tyreek Hill? I assume that's the expectation.
Oh, yeah, he's gone, man. Yeah, he's more than gone. Plus, that knee injury is brutal. You don't know what you're going to get back with Tyreek Hill at this point in time, and they're not going anywhere again. So if Tyreek's going to go somewhere, and if he's trying to keep his career alive, it's going to be somewhere that needs a receiver, and he's trying to still win. But the Dolphins aren't in the winning position right now moving forward.
Miami Hurricanes. I know they felt that they should be over Notre Dame all along, so I don't think anybody's surprised or shocked, and they're very happy that the things landed the way they did. The 10 seed against the 7 seed A&M. Where's the confidence level as a 3.5-point dog for Canes fans?
You know what? I think it's kind of like one of those things that it's probably 50-50 because Mario Cristobal has been a guy that in his conservative nature, it's cost him in big moments, and it did this season. The only thing that I will say to give him credit, after the SMU loss, after taking those 2 losses, it looks like he backed away a little bit from his offensive coordinator, and his offensive coordinator has been able to open things up, and he's doing a little different things, and they're putting more points on the board. So we'll see if that's part of what's going to happen with the Canes in this game. What I love about this matchup is that Texas A&M can pressure the quarterback, but Miami is one of the best in the country. Carson Beck has, the most time back there in the pocket when it comes to getting your job done. So Miami has a pretty damn good offensive line. It's going to be interesting. It's just kind of a test. I think the fan base needs to see Mario Cristobal. And remember, the Canes, they haven't won a game like this in over 20 years, my brothers. It was the early 2000s when they were actually really good and they won a championship and they had a decent team for a couple of years. But really, it's been over 20 years since the Canes have won a legitimate game like this. So that's why the confidence isn't high, because they haven't done this in so long. There's a generation that's passed that they don't know what it's like to have a great Canes team like I witnessed back in the 80s and the 90s. So that's kind of why the confidence is kind of 50-50. There are some people that feel kind of confident, and some people are saying Mario needs to kind of prove it in a moment like this.
Are the Canes back for good, or is this just a one-off?
No. They're not back for good, my brother. Until you see them start winning these kind of games often, then we can say the Canes are back. But, that's the problem in our society. We have this microwave society that wants to reward people without them actually earning it. These guys are nothing like the kind of Canes that I grew up with that would eat up the competition. They used to, the Big Lease, which was the Big East, we used to call it the Big Lease. Miami didn't lose any games in those, and that's kind of exactly, I kind of tell the fans nowadays, I go, man, you're in the ACC, which I call it another crappy conference is what I call the ACC. If you want to be a great team and you want to compete with the ACC and the Big Ten, you got to run the table in this kind of a conference, because FSU is an FSU and neither is Clemson, and you're not really having to deal with that. You better run the table, and to lose those two games was unacceptable this year. So there's no way the Canes are back yet. When the Canes are back is when they can beat the Ohio States of the world on a consistent basis. That's when they're back.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. What is the latest on the Heat in the league trying to give them some relief for the Terry Rozier situation?
Yeah, I kind of laugh at that, I got to be honest. First of all, I'm supposed to give you relief because you're stupid enough to trade for Terry Rozier? I mean, that's the hilarious part about this, is that you were stupid enough to actually trade for this guy. But it was done under shady circumstances, so the league knew it, and so did the team. So this is why they do deserve some kind of compensation back. But the league is kind of covering their butts like they always do, because they're saying, well, he hasn't been convicted of anything. Well, eventually he'll be convicted, and I guess they're just waiting for the whole damn thing to play out. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's compensation that's not really going to put the Heat over the top in this world. If they get something, it's some kind of compensatory late first-round pick that's right between the second and the first round, something along those lines. They're not going to get much in return. And, in the end, they're not going to be players for some of the top free agents, because they don't have enough ammo, even if they get that first rounder sometime next year.
Finally, the Marlins, are they going to do anything?
No, my brother. They deal with food stamps and I don't know, green stamps that I grew up with, and IOUs, and they don't have any money. They're trying to be the poor man's Tampa Bay. Poor man's Oakland A's. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to catch, 2003, that championship, that's exactly what they're trying to do, what the Kansas City Royals did, where you try to accumulate as many picks, as many young players, and then you try to catch lightning in a bottle in 1 year, and then obviously the team will be dismantled because you're Kansas City, you're Miami, you're not going to pay. The days of the Wayne Huizingas of the world, rest in peace, are gone, unfortunately. We don't have an owner like Jorge Mas or Vinny Viola. You know what I mean? We don't have those kind of owners like we have in some of the other sports that are willing to spend and do whatever it takes. Sherman, it's like 15 owners there. You know what I mean? When you've got 15 owners, you've got none. The Panthers had 5 owners before Vinny Viola, and every time they had to make a money run, all you saw were rabbit's ears when they were pulling out everything from their pants. You know what I mean? You got to have deep pockets to run a real franchise, and Sherman doesn't have it. The Marlins are Mickey Mouse.
Orlando Alzagari, love it. Always bringing it strong. Great stuff as always, buddy. Have a great weekend.
You got it, my brother. You be good.
Colorado.
Mike Rice, 104.3 The Fan in Denver, Colorado. Mike, how are you, sir?
Doing well, Soren. How's this Friday going?
It's going pretty good. Tell me, how nice is it to be a Denver Bronco fan right now? Like, how much are they living on top of the world? Not only sitting at the 1 seed in the AFC, but watching their bitter rival, the Kansas City Chiefs, already be eliminated.
Well, yeah. I mean, for sure, there's no love lost on the latter. There's also, I think, certainly a healthy amount of respect, and nobody wants to see anyone get hurt, let alone a player like Patrick Mahomes, and even in Broncos country, there's that sentiment. But for sure, after 8 to 10 years of really, really struggling, the Broncos are back right now, and the Broncos country's loving it. They've played really good football, Soren.
Yeah, they are playing very well, and is the confidence building that they might actually not just be sitting in the 1 seed, but be the AFC's best team?
Yeah, certainly there's confidence. And I think when they clinched a playoff berth last week, nobody was talking in the locker room about clinching a playoff berth. It's like, no, we need to get the number 1 seed. There were just bigger goals. They're happy. They feel good about where they're at. But as Sean said, after the game and the next day on Monday, he said, look, we want to win the division. We want to get as high a seed as possible, and we want to win a world championship. And none of those goals have been reached yet. So there is a high degree of focus and a high degree of guys who are buying in and working hard and playing for each other and all those things that we talk about with chemistry, but it's true in that locker room.
Yeah, no, then that makes sense. All right, tell me, the Denver Nuggets, Jokic becoming the all-time NBA king for assists by a center. He's won MVPs. I mean, I know this isn't like, the most impressive thing out there, but how much is this something that's resonating with the fans?
Well, with the fans, it's just another box to check off, sort of the inevitable with how good this guy is. It's mind-blowing, Soren. When you look at the numbers, when you look at what he's done this year, when you look at what he's done in his career with the MVPs and the title, which hopefully there's at least one more in that department. But the fans love it. I still don't know. I don't pretend to know Jokic or really have spent any time with him, so I don't know how much these kind of things mean to him. He brushes it off, but does anybody truly brush these kind of accomplishments off totally? I don't know. All I do know is that there's nobody like him, and there's nobody who sees the court like he does, especially from that position, and it's remarkable. And if you think he's done accomplishing things, then think again, because this guy's amazing.
Yeah, no, it is. He's incredible. And the Nuggets right now, the 2 seed, 4.5 back of the Thunder. But it was brought up to me, like, the Thunder have kind of had this weird schedule where they played, like, all the pushovers, right? Like, and now have a bunch of tough games. Like, what do you think? How far away are the Nuggets from the Thunder as far as being the top seed? Or do you think that maybe the Nuggets are actually better?
That's tough. I don't know, because I know you want an answer. I would say right now the Thunder's the better team. That's what my gut says. Part of it is youth. Part of it is whether it's pushovers or not. They are just wiping people out. It's really remarkable. Nuggets have had the rough patch at home, which is uncharacteristic for them. But I will say this: the way Jamal Murray's playing, and remember they're doing all of this without Christian Brown, without Aaron Gordon, who hopefully will be back, sooner than later. Both those guys. It's going to be a dogfight, and the general consensus here in the Mile High City is that you want to win a championship, it's going to go through OKC, and it's basically the Nuggets and the Thunder vying for that title if both teams play like they can. And I wouldn't put it past them in April for the Nuggets to get that done. I wouldn't put it past them at all.
No, it looks really good, for sure. What's the backlash on the Rockies having the number 10 pick, with the lottery, a historically bad season? They got those lottery rules that you can't be cashing in the lottery all the time. What's the reaction to the Rockies getting that pick?
I think there's actually less reaction to that and more reaction to some of their hirings, with Paul DePodesta coming on board, Josh Burns, who I think was a really good hire for general manager, and some of the other front office positions they filled out. Thankfully, they've gone outside of the organization. They're trying something different. We can debate the DePodesta pick all day long, all year long, but the fact is at least they're trying something different with a guy who's had some success in the major leagues. I know it happened with the Cleveland Browns, but again, with the insular nation of their promotions over the last decade plus, they're trying to do something different. And I think Walker Monfort is putting his stamp on this front office right now, and I think that's good from the ownership perspective. But look, they've been so bad for so long. The number 10 pick could easily be better than the number 1 pick, just like an 8th round pick can turn into a superstar. So that hasn't moved the needle as much as the other moves.
Yeah. Last, Deion Sanders. Where are we at? Is it a make-or-break year for Deion next year? Like, where's the harmony there between the Buffs and Deion?
Yeah, that's a great question. But even before that, what's going to become of this program and this team with all the portal exits and hopefully the portal guys that he'll be bringing in? But, I mean, CU still is facing what it always has, and that's the money issue. They don't have the pool of big fish donors like some of the other schools, even in the Big 12, have. And so I think it's a real challenge. But, yeah, it's a huge year coming up for Deion. When you look at, I think it was the USA Today that did the piece recently on the financial state of the Buffs athletic department, potentially being, $27 million in the hole. That's a lot, Soren, and the Buffs are going to have to figure that out. And the quickest way to figure that out is to have a winning football team.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get it done. Mike Rice in Denver. Always great stuff from you, my friend. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you on down the road.
You bet. Merry Christmas.
I've been to Pittsburgh.
Jeff Hawthorne, 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Jeff, how are you, sir?
What is up, Kansas City? How are you?
Well, we're good. We're not in the fight anymore, which the Steelers are, and I think maybe, I don't know how, but surprisingly, like, everybody had the Ravens running the Steelers down as they were gaining ground. It was just a foregone conclusion, and now the Ravens have dropped a couple. The Steelers are holding them off. Where's the confidence that Pittsburgh can win the AFC North?
It's growing. They're not calling for the head coach to be fired, which is nice at home for them. Aaron Rodgers is playing at a little bit of a different level. And I don't think it's just Aaron, but Aaron is a big part of this because he's the best quarterback, and people might laugh, at 42 that the Steelers have had since Ben Roethlisberger at 38. So you take what you can get, but Aaron Rodgers played really well in the last couple of games, especially against Miami. And the Steelers feel if they can get a home playoff game, given where the AFC is right now, and some of the heavyweight teams are either out like Kansas City or have issues like Buffalo, that they've got a chance to who knows what. Now, is that realistic? Probably not, but at least they're feeling better here.
Yeah, how long is the leash with Mike Tomlin, though, right? He's just like one loss away from everybody being fired up, or will they actually get behind him again?
No, I mean, I think I wouldn't say Detroit's a pass. I think if they lose that game, it's kind of expected in some ways because of what Detroit is playing for and how good their offense is. But let's say they go up to Cleveland and lose, then yeah, you're looking right back at it where people are really ticked off. And, I mean, the reality is with the Steelers, they're maybe a slightly above average team. They're not really that good. So really not that great teams have games where they look really good and then ones where they throw out stinkers, and they've thrown out some stinkers this year.
You mentioned Aaron Rodgers. Is this definitely the final go for him, or could there be another year?
You might be surprised that he's kind of dropping hints that this may not be it. It's going to depend on what his health is at the end of the year. The only thing he's really dealt with from a series standpoint is a broken wrist, which is getting close to being as near 100% as a broken wrist can be in season. So, but he's said a few times that, well, that may not be exactly it. So the Steelers still need a quarterback, right now it's going really well, but there's still 3 more games for this to play out.
Yeah. All right. How about the Pirates? Actual activity, actually making moves.
Right?
Is anybody excited about the Pirates and what they've done so far?
I don't know if it's a Christmas miracle or not, but people are praising the Pirates today because of the Brandon Lau trade. He immediately becomes their best hitter. And they're looking for something, like something to get excited about, something offensively that they can hang their hat on. And now you bring in 31 home runs from the left side in the left-hand hitter's park, guy who's proven it over time. You've got 2 younger guys that could be options. So while there's still some more work to be done, there is some optimism about the Pirates with Paul Skeens leading that rotation, and then now maybe actually having some major league hitting that this could be a year that they might be able to contend.
Did they make a legitimate run at Kyle Schwarber, or just kind of, throw a couple of bucks to get some headlines?
Yeah, you know how these things go, where when that comes out that easily and is not, refuted at all, not rebuffed at all, you kind of wonder, like, okay, are we going to hang a banner that says almost signed Kyle Schwarber? But they did go out and make a pretty good trade today, so I give them credit for that.
Yeah, fake trophies are what we like to call them. No, you're not. You're not going to hang it. They're not going to the trophy case at all. How about Skeens pitching in the WBC? I mean, listen, the guy wants to do it. He's healthy, but I don't know. It seems like everybody thinks he's just, his stuff is so wicked. He throws so hard that he's this ticking time bomb for injury. Are people excited or scared that he's going to pitch in the WBC?
I think excited. I think anything Paul does, they're excited about right now. And the thought is that because of his frame and that he doesn't seem to put a lot of strain on his arm, that a lot of it comes from his legs, that can continue for him. And I think this with the organization, he could tell them, listen, I'm going to get on a spacecraft and go to the moon and back, and they would say, okay, whatever you want, Paul. And that's just kind of where he's at. So I think most fans are excited about that. There's always a few that are always worried about something, but I think it's kind of cool for Pirate fans to have somebody like, hey, wow, Team USA has a key Pirate on it.
Yeah. All right, we'll see how he does. Certainly a brilliant pitcher, no doubt. Jeff Hawthorne in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Great stuff. We always appreciate it. Happy holidays to you, and have a great weekend.
Happy holidays.
All right, our end of the hour answer. How many teams in NFL history have gained 580 yards and been +3 on turnovers and lost?
Ooh, 580 +3 and take the L. 2.
1. It was the Rams last night.
Rams last night. Wow.
Previous teams were 16-0.
Yeah, that was a wild game. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the Seahawk uniforms.
Seattle, for me, is one where I'm back and forth. I love their retro ones. Their current ones, just I'm not a fan.
The retro ones are great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just go back. I know I sound like an old guy. Scott Van Pelt's always talking about that as well on SportsCenter. And I know we sound like a couple of old farts, but like the Rams, the yellow and blue Rams, great. Not this stupid like fading, changing colors, this dirty white or whatever they're wearing. Looks like crap.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the Bucks as well, the creamsicles should be standard.
Oh, mandatory. I bought a creamsicle hat just to say I support these uniforms.
Right.
Please wear these uniforms. I will buy this hat. I also have a lot of Syracuse crap, so it's a good hat to wear with Syracuse shirts. So, because you can't double logo.
That's right.
Can't double logo. So, Bears hat, Bucks hat, McLaren F1 hat. Yeah, you got to find your other orange to go with your Syracuse gear. So, but I like my creamsicle Bucks hat a lot. It is the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We are at Tanner's 40th anniversary going on. They've got all kinds of eats and drinks specials for you. So come on out and enjoy. They're celebrating 40 years of being a go-to for post games. For the game itself, watching the games. Got bowl games on right now. Got basketball on right now. We got all the TVs. Of course, we got all the food, all the drinks. Of course, all the people. Always great service at Tanner's as well. Celebrating 40 years. $4 domestic bottles, $5 20-ounce Modelo drafts. Come on out. We're at 87th. All these specials are good, though, at all the Kansas locations. So take advantage of it and get on out to Tanner's tonight. I do want to say, who do we want to see play for the Chiefs? They're not going anywhere, but who is it that Kyle Collier expects to see more of or a lot more of now that the Chiefs are eliminated?
Well, 1 and 2 for me. I'll go Jeff Bossa and I'll go Jalen Royals. Matt Nagy was asked about Royals this week, and he just kind of called it a red shirt year. And, that makes me nervous. Is he the type of kid who just cannot get a rap on the playbook? Does the team not trust him? Is he just not talented enough to get on the field? And I hope we see him this week. Andy spoke today, and Rasheed is injured. Tyquan Thornton is injured. Xavier Worthy has been dealing with some injuries. So if Jalen Royals can't break through this week, then I'm not sure if he ever will.
I'll give you one that I don't think people are going to talk about. How about Hunter Norzad?
Oh, yeah, there you go.
If Trey Smith's not going to play, how about Hunter Norzad over Mike Caliendo? Why did you draft this guy if you're never going to play him?
Right.
And the grading on Mike Caliendo, he's fine. He's a decent enough backup. But the grades say it ain't that good. And the bit that Hunter Norzad has played, like when he played against the Broncos last year, I think he was the highest rated offensive lineman that played. I don't understand why that guy can't get on the field, and I don't understand why you don't want to know what you have in him.
Yeah, it's possible we're looking at another Wanya Morris Esapole situation there.
I mean, could be. I think but I want to see him play. I want to see Noel Williams play. You mentioned Jeffrey Bossa. All the young guys, pretty much. How about Wiley at tight end?
Yeah, there you go.
Travis Kelce's earned the right to finish out the year, playing. I don't think you want to, he wants to just sit on the bench going out. So you play Travis Kelce, but the second tight end should be Wiley. Let's find out what you have in this player.
Yeah, and Wiley's, I believe his first snap of the season was a fourth down play, and they went to him. So yeah. I don't understand why we haven't seen much of him.
No, it is. I mean, I think this is a time, and I think when you see an 18-person injury report for the Chiefs, 6 of which were DNPs, 2 of which were limited, they're kind of setting it up that, Andy Reid's like, well, if they can go, they're going to go. Except for I'm giving you a list of 18 guys that we have the potential out on why they didn't go.
Yeah.
And, use it. Use it.
Yeah,
I think go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I've been cutting all the audio this week for Curtis, and every day they've been asked, when are we going to see some young guys? You're going to try out some new stuff? And the Chiefs, the coaches and players have just responded with, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And we will. And then, we'll bitch if we don't.
Right.
I'm not going to lie. I mean, I don't see a practical reason to not be playing these young players, right? You need to find out what you have in them because it's a really big offseason. And you need to know, do we have an answer here? Do we have an answer here? Is this guy a potential answer? I think you got to get to the bottom of that. And so...
And you've seen the benefits of that already. I think Noel Williams has given you a strong answer on, this is a guy that can handle it.
I'd like to see Jalen Watson used like a number one corner. I don't think he's a number one, but use him and find out. And maybe the Titans aren't the best example. Maybe you need the Broncos next week. But, if you're going to trade Trent McDuffie, then signing Jalen Watson would be a possibility. So I think you want to know, he's played for a long time. You know what he is, but how does this defense, for 2 weeks it's looked pretty good without Trent McDuffie. Right, so can that continue? So I want to see what's Jalen Watson. Get Noel Williams on the field more. Is Jalen Watson and Noel Williams good enough? Is Noel Williams and, Kevin Knowles, who's been great on special teams, is that a real starting corner tandem? I don't think so. But let's take a look. Let's know so. Then if you are negotiating with Trent McDuffie, you know that, okay, we have to get this done. How about, let me flip it the other way. Who should not play?
Oh, man. Man.
I'll give you tops on my list. Trent McDuffie.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, keep him healthy. Keep him healthy if you want to move him, yeah.
Yeah, if you think you're going to move him, then you don't want him hurt. And, now if you think you need to play him one game to show that he's healthy, then he's playing the last game. But as long as he's on the injury report, he's not going in the game for me because I am not going to lose a potential trade asset having him run around playing in a game that doesn't matter.
Right. One on my list, I think I would put either Mike Edwards or Shamari Connor. Let's see some more Jaden Hicks.
Yeah, Jaden Hicks for sure. A no-brainer. And Jaden Hicks is, Steve Spagnuolo's pretty much said he doesn't know where he's lining up.
Jeez.
I mean, so he's got to figure it out. But, put him out there, let him embarrass himself, and maybe that's what it takes to get him to dive more into the playbook and to get better on the playbook. Whatever it takes, you got to find out what you've got, everything you've got in the young players. I mean, I think that's what these last 3 games are about. Can't play them all, and some guys are going to play already because of injury, but that's what these last 3 games are. But I really do. I think Hunter Norzad's an underrated part of the equation. Like to know, do we have a backup guard that we, can count on? That's on a 6-round first contract. That's a good spot to be in. And because Mike Caliendo's a free agent. And I don't think you want to be spending on that again. 913-810-810. We'll take a break. We're at Tanner's 40th anniversary going on. We're at 87th Street, the original Tanner's. 40 years ago, your go-to spot to come and hang out with friends, with family, to watch a game, come after a ball game. It's Tanner's. Come celebrate 40 years of Tanner's here on 87th. 40th anniversary party rolls on here at Tanner's on 87th. Take advantage of great deals like the 20-ounce Modelo drafts for just $5. You can take advantage of that. How about great food specials like the chicken lip basket with fries, just $8. Get the Lotso Nachos, $12. $9 sliders with fries. Eats and drinks, great specials all night long. These specials are all good at all the Tanners in Kansas, not just here at 87th as they celebrate 40 years being your destination for hanging out, meeting friends, going after the ball game, watching the game here at Tanner's. Last night we had a shootout. Seahawks 38-37 winners over the Rams. The Seahawks went for 2 at the end. First of all, do you like that move, Kyle?
I do. Seahawks are fighting for the 1 seed, and they wanted to get the win.
Yeah, I like it. You know, they didn't want to come away with a tie, so they played it bold and went for it. What about the Rams going for 1? Are you okay with that?
Me, yeah, I am okay with that, and I'll put some trust in my defense there. Not sure you are, though.
No. So listen, let me say this. First of all, in high school football, right? Now I'm going to start with high school football. You absolutely, the high school football, you start at the 10 in the overtime. You go for 2 every time, right? Like you don't wait for them to mandate it. You go for 2. And I think I'm on board with the NFL. You should do it as well, because here's my reasoning. Definitely in high school football you want to do it because you want your defensive coordinator to know exactly what he's defending, right? And in the NFL where you got to go the whole length of the field, I think it's in even more important reasons. Like one, the whole we got a touchdown. Once you get a touchdown, the other team's not going to settle for a field goal, so they're already in 4-down territory. But if you're at 7, then do you really go balls out trying to stop somebody, or you're like, well, no, we can just play for another overtime, right? But if you're at 6 or 8, you know exactly how to play it. At 6, I cannot let a touchdown in. I have to play defense. I can let them come down for the field goal, but at whatever point that I think my defense is at my best to keep them out of the end zone, that's when I have to apply the pressure.
Right.
And at 8, hey, feet up. They got to not only score. To me, when you're up 8, you can get super aggressive because even if you give up a gimme touchdown, okay, let's just come back and let's defend the 2. So you've got 2 options. So, I'm a proponent of going for 2 when you score first in overtime.
Yeah, I think you're right. And Sean McVay probably regretting his decision.
I mean, I don't know that he is because I don't know that anybody looks at it that way. To me, it's very much game theory. And I think, again, the idea would have to be you'd have to have a lot of talks with your defensive coordinator, but, do you want to know what you have to do? And to me, when you go for 2, either way, get it or don't, you know exactly what you have to do. But at 7, you leave yourself in no man's land where the Rams were, where the other team goes for 2 and they beat you. But by you going for 2, you eliminate any distractions from your defensive coordinator, and he can be singular of purpose in how he's trying to defend you going down the field. I don't know if anybody will do it. I would 100% do it in high school football. Needs to happen.
All right, our end of the hour question. How many of Craig Biggio's 3,060 hits came on a 3-0 count?
Fourth quarter of the program begins right now as we finish strong here on a Friday. It is the 40th anniversary of Tanner's. We're at the original Tanner's on 87th, just west of I-35. Come on by. Big crowd. You know what? I think like the bar business is kind of like a camaraderie. Like every bar owner in the city, I think, is here, helping Tanner celebrate 40 years. That speaks to the kind of folks they are here at Tanner's. Everybody happy, everybody enjoying themselves here at Tanner's. Great specials on drinks, great specials on food. They're even raffling things off, giving things away. Come on out and enjoy. Everybody is having a good time at Tanner's. And all the food and drink specials, like $9 sliders with fries, like 20-ounce Modelo drafts for $5. Those specials are good at all Tanner's in Kansas. So if you're going to any Tanner's in Kansas, you can take advantage of it if you want to come to where the party is. Where it all started 40 years ago, it's the Tanner's on 87th. All right, let's get to the things you need to know before we get to our man Kevin Harlan, who will be coming up shortly. Always a great way to wrap up the week with our buddy Kevin Harlan. Let's start with the Chiefs at the podium. We begin with Andy Reid giving us the latest on the injuries.
Injuries, the guys that didn't practice today were Leo, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Moore, Derek Nutty, Rasheed, Jawan Taylor, and Tyquan Thornton. And then I'll visit with Rick here and just see where we're at with who will play out of that group. Look forward to the challenge of playing this game. I mean, Tennessee has done a nice job especially with that defensive front that they've got, a young quarterback. Mike's done a nice job of stepping in and filling in that spot. That's a tough thing to do, and they've done it well along with his coordinator. So we've got to make sure that in special teams, I'm not saying anything about special, I should be talking about special teams too. They got a great returner and punter, and that's been doing a long time, and special teams coordinator there. So with John Fessel. But again, we look forward to the challenge of playing them. So that time's yours.
Okay. Like, anyone buying they've done a great job down there in Tennessee?
No, not really.
No.
Maybe he's
not really.
Speaking about the interim, just stepping in and.
Yeah. Oh, how about Mike's done a nice job of showing up to work. But hey, that's what you got to say. Travis Kelce found his way to a microphone here in Kansas City. He talked about disappointment stemming from last week's game.
I mean, I kind of talked about it on the podcast with my brother. It's just disappointing, and then on top of that, just an absolute dagger into the back, knowing how the season ended for 1-5, and on our last hope going into the last drive of the game, and looked like we were going to have a chance to maybe come out with a win and keep our hopes alive, and then kind of just kept going downhill from there. So it's just, it sucks, man. It sucks, but that's the reality of it. And right now we got 3 games left to try and enjoy it with the guys in this building and the team that we've built here, and then on top of that, Chiefs Kingdom deserves us to go out there and play our hearts out for them.
Am I the only one that thought that comment was like what I kind of talked about on the podcast? Like, well, it's not required consumption,
right?
It's almost like, well, I mean, everyone listens to the podcast.
Why would you ask me that? I already answered that question.
I've never listened to the podcast once. I mean, my wife loves it. She fast forwards through the football talk. She thinks they're great, right? But I'm like, I just kind of love I talked about it on the podcast. Okay. Well, I'll ask my question to you on mine. We'll communicate through podcasts.
Right.
What are we doing here? Last game with 15, Travis Kelce was asked if he thinks he's played his last game with Mahomes.
Oh, man, that's crazy. I think, I'd rather just keep the focus of the media and everything on this team right now. And all the conversations that I have with the team and everything moving forward will be with them. And, I think it's a unique time in my life. And unfortunately, I got 3 games left, and I know when the season ends this year. Typically, we go into it and we don't know when it's going to end, and that's the beauty of it. But just trying to make sure that everybody here knows that I'm focused on trying to win football games these last 3 games.
All right, so that's what he does. Like I said, he knows when it's going to end this time. That's the first time in a long time that he's known when it was going to end. Sam McDowell asked Travis Kelce about the inconsistency of the offense this year.
I think that's what it really is. That's where it's mostly frustrating, is that we've seen, spurts or parts of the season where we are that team that I think we could make a run at a championship, and then times where we don't even deserve to be in the playoffs. So.
We think they were close to making a run for it. I don't think they were that far away.
Especially during the middle of the season. I would say before the bye week, Rashee Rice comes back, 31 points on the Raiders. You hung 28 on Washington, and you thought all of a sudden the 2022 offense was back, and not for long.
Yeah, I disagree with Bob Glauber, who said they're a ways away. I don't think right now they're a ways away. We'll see what the players they have to cut to get to the cap. They may make themselves a ways away, but it's interesting. I thought it was interesting getting Bob's reaction to that, because you're getting an outside opinion. You're getting somebody who's not here talking Chiefs day in, day out. So I thought it was interesting. You can catch that on the podcast. He was with us in the 3 o'clock hour. Let's talk a little bit about Andy Reid's thoughts on Travis Kelce this year. Was asked if he's played his last game with Mahomes.
Yeah, listen, I thought he has had a heck of a year, Really, I thought he played well. Great leadership, obviously. So I thought it was a step up even from what he played last year. He made that a point this offseason to really focus in and come in great shape, and it's helped him throughout the year here. He's been able to maintain that.
No, he liked the year. I mean, listen, he's played well enough to come back, but I don't think he's played well enough to come back and make $18 million, which is a big part of the equation. Like, maybe he wants to come back, but at what number? And does it fit with where the Chiefs are? I think it's going to be really hard to see the number that it will take for Travis Kelce to say, yeah, I'm going to go through this grind again, fit with where the Chiefs cap is going to be. So I think he has played his last game with Patrick Mahomes. I think it'll be a big stretch if the Chiefs roll out a big number for him at this point in his career. How about why Travis Kelce? He was asked about the reason for going out and playing hard over these last 3 games.
It's just integrity, man. It's integrity. I signed up to be, a Kansas City Chief, and I love doing what I do, and I know I've been dreaming of being in these moments and playing for an NFL team since I was a kid, and I think getting back to that will give you more motivation than you could ever need to play this game. And I think the integrity of being a man about your work and giving everybody your devoted attention and your sense of urgency to be at your best for them. I think that's just how you need to go about work, whether or not you're in the race or not. And I think that's the mentality going into these last 3 games. Is we know it kind of ends after that New Year's game, or the game right after New Year's in January, and but I'm gonna make sure these guys know that I'm out there giving them everything I got.
I like hearing that about just integrity. Hey, it's the integrity of the game. That's why we do this. I think that's great, and I think that's why I said before. Listen, I am all about tanking if you're not any good, right? And I think the Chiefs will be in a better position if they lose these next 3 games than if they win them. But the players and the coaches on the field have to have that mindset. It's about the integrity they play. So if you want to tank, you've got to take the players off the field, right? You can't tell a player to play poorly. That's not going to happen. But, that's the mindset you want every player to have.
Yeah.
Travis,
real quick, Ray, that was a question you asked Steve Spagnuolo yesterday, and his answer was along the same lines. Like, they're going to be ready to play.
Yeah, for sure. All right, a number of times this year, many times this year, Travis Kelce has not spoken to the media. Sam McDowell asked Kelce if it bothered him this year.
I appreciate the respect you guys give me. You guys know through, the podcast and other areas that you guys are going to get the sound bites and things like that. But if there's ever something I need to speak on or something I need to answer a question about, I think I've always been pretty fair about that, and I think you guys have been pretty respectful on understanding where I'm at with all that.
I mean, the league mandates that you be available once a week during the week and after every game. Their player contracts, that's written into it. I mean, I don't really care when I can talk about it, whether these guys talk or not. And frankly, most players kind of suck at the mic. I'm not going to lie to you. There aren't a lot of players I'm waiting for. Travis Kelce is not one of the guys who sucks. He is one of the thoughtful guys. And I would say this. I mean, like I said, for me, it doesn't matter. Either way, I can talk about, him dropping the ball and it going for an interception when it should have been a touchdown against the Eagles, whether he talks about it or not, right? But for me, it's like if he doesn't talk, if he's there and like Vinny Pasquantino after the game talks, and that means everybody's got a soundbite on that night's game that they can use, a video bite if it's TV, a soundbite if it's radio, a quote if it's print, and they don't have to go to a kid who's only been in the big leagues for a year, right? Vinny Pasquantino's been around and he shoulders that responsibility. They're going to come to me. They're going to talk. I'm going to say it the right way. I'm not going to give anybody bulletin board material. I'm not going to make us look like fools. And I'm not going to make some kid who's not used to doing it talk. But when Travis Kelce doesn't do it, who's one of the most senior members on this team, that means somebody else, because the media's got to have their quotes. Like they have to write their stories. They have to do their stand-ups. They have to do their packages, right? They're going to go to somebody else. So now you put it on somebody who's less prepared, less experienced. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't love it, but it's not the end of the world. I know a lot of fans like, who cares if he talks? So listen to the podcast. That's great. That's great. Not everybody has a podcast. And I think if we're going to talk about integrity, then talk about integrity and do it all the time.
The program with Soren Petro.
I'm all about ball. I love ball.
Weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, listen up. We've got all kinds of NBA action going on right now. There's no better way to get in on that action than with Underdog. Fast breaks, buzzer beaters, block parties, you name it, it's all right there. You can make entries, win money right now in Missouri. Playing on Underdog, it's easy. Just choose whether your favorite player will go higher or lower on stats like points, rebounds, steals, and more. Get your entries right. You can win up to 5,000 times your cash. We got a big one tonight. Thunder and T-Wolves, SGA against Ant-Man. Going higher on SGA's 31.5 points. I'm going lower on Ant-Man's 25.5. It's just that easy. Download the app. Use promo code SEREN. Score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code SEREN. If you love sports, unwrap a fun way to get more involved in the sports. It's the Underdog app. Use the promo code SEREN. Score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code SOREN. Plus, Jake Paul steps back into the ring. That's right. He's back in action. Underdog is dropping a 50% boost to crank up the action. For the chance to win up to 5,000 times your cash, there's no better time to be playing on Underdog than right now. There's tons of promos all throughout the holidays. They're kicking it off with a boost for the Jake Paul fight Friday night. Let's go right now. Download the app. Use the promo code SEREN, SOREN, to score $75 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code SEREN. It's at Underdog. Make plays, win money.
Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Hey, college football fans, it's time to lock in on those playoff showdowns with BetMGM. Whether you're riding on an upset or hoping the favorite dominates, take your excitement to the next level with an Odds Boost token. Log into your BetMGM account to receive your token. Then place a bet on any college football matchup with your activated token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No matter where the action is, betting with a boost will make the biggest games of the season even more memorable. Don't miss out on BetMGM's lineup of promotions.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test. Okay, sounds good. I'm ready. No, because I don't really know. Did we didn't have an amount, did we? No, I'm going to go with the WNBA one. Okay, cool.
All right, coming down in 3, 2, 1. But first, our end of the hour answer. How many of Craig Biggio's 3,060 hits came on a 3-0 count?
Oh, wow. Must be some amazingly low or high number. I'm going to say like 5.
The answer is 1.
1. Wow, he just wasn't going to swing. You're going to have to throw him a strike. That's awesome. Wow, that is amazing stat. I love that stat.
Little League dads everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed by that.
Absolutely. Hey, we want to thank everybody here at Tanner's. We've been here for their 40th anniversary. They're going to be rocking and rolling here all night. They got drink specials. They got food specials. $5 for the 20-ounce Modelo. You can come down and get it. Specials on the chicken lips. Those are chicken fingers if you've never been to a Tanner's, for crying out loud, people. Come on out and enjoy. Great place to watch OU in Alabama. Got that up on the big screen TVs. It's always been a great spot for you to hang out, watch a game, talk to people. It's great seeing all the guys that are here. We've got a lot of great folks, and I literally think every bar owner in the city might be here as they all come and help celebrate Tanner's here on a wonderful Friday night. Leave you with this. I think something kind of interesting. I mentioned this a little bit before, but the WNBA negotiations are going on with their Players Association, and I've heard some people. It's funny, and I hear them even on like the national, like talking about how the league's losing money. How can they be asking for more? Baseball teams lose money in a year, and the baseball players still ask for more. The point is that the valuations of the teams go up. They put more money in it as the valuations go up. The Houston Rockets are trying to buy the Connecticut Sun. They're not trying to do it because they think it's a money-losing business. It's amazing to me the sexist nature with which the WNBA is covered still to this day in 2025 in what is supposed to be a modern era, how sexist some of the coverage is of the WNBA, a league that is growing in leaps and bounds.